9:30 exactly on the nose. That's kind of record time for getting everything up and running and going. That's fantastic. So, all right. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir.
Would you be able to confirm members in attendance to establish a quorum?
We have 4, so yes, we have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Albert has not let me know that he's not coming, but
I think I saw him in the lobby.
There you go.
okay.
Carry on.
Okay.
Still a quorum.
Here
Yeah.
he is.
We still have.
There he is.
Here he comes.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
Albert.
Well, we have
Not
5.
only-
Now we
have
have
quorum.
more. Now we have more of a quorum.
We have an absolute.
It's a
100%.
solid quorum. Solid quorum.
How about, I'll scoot down a little bit, Albert. You can have. Don't forget to turn on our mics as well. Okay. Morning or afternoon, sir. So,
Whatever.
Mr. Martin, would you mind reassessing our membership to establish a quorum?
Yes, we now have more of a quorum.
That's right, quorum plus 1 or plus 2. All right, fantastic. So let us recite the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a flag up here, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fantastic. All right, good deal. And we're live on YouTube, right, Carrie? Thank you, good deal. The first item on the docket is the approval of the agenda for the meeting. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor of the agenda that has been presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item, actually, let's see here. Yeah, the next item on the agenda will be actually sharing of educational excellence. So I'm going to muddle through this to the best of my ability. Jamie's not able to be with us this evening, but she did send our NWA achievement rates for the fall and winter of last year, and they show some very good trends. They show, for instance, from fall to winter that our above the 80th percentile rate within the, let me get this correct here, within the, am I in math or, no, I'm in reading there. Okay, this is reading. So went from, in the 80th percentile, went from 15% to 31% in the math K through 12 world of NWA assessment. So our overall results are trending upward in the math for sure. And then in addition, we've got in the reading world, we went from above the 80th percentile in terms of reading from 22% in the fall of 25-26 to 32% in the 80th percentile in the winter of 26. So 25-26 school year. So this is showing improvement. Fantastic, trending up the right direction. I think everybody agrees we could continue trending upward and get some of our raw numbers up a little bit higher, but this is fantastic. It's showing improvement, and it makes me proud. This is fantastic. Any questions from the board? Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea how we compare to the schools, say, in our neighboring corporations of North Lawrence and Eastern Green, performance-wise on these similar tests?
I am sure that data is out there. I don't have it. And without Jamie here to kind of answer, I
don't know.
I'm not sure either. I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sure we could definitely inquire. We can have that next meeting for sure.
I know
The
when
NWEA test is norm referenced, so it's like every kid who took the test, no matter where they are. Those are the scores that we
and
have.
for some families, they actually take the time to look at that statistic and say, you know, make a comparison.
Yeah, I made a note. I'll send her an email and see what she thinks. She might be able to come up with something fairly easily. All right. Okay, so on to the next item on the agenda. So we're on to the consent and approvals section of the agenda. And the first item to review would be the minutes from the November board meeting. So those minutes have been presented by Mr. Martin. Are there any motions or discussion?
I move to, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the minutes as
I'll second.
presented.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All right, so all in favor of the approval of the minutes from November signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next item within the consent and the approvals is the review and discussion and consideration of the items related to the expenditures during the past month. Ms. Corbin Dietrich, may I turn it over to you for a quick rollover of that?
Absolutely. Okay, so looking at our claims for November, we had $78,946.03 for claims, and payroll $160,161.48 for a total of $239,107.51 for that month. So nothing too extraordinary out of the.
Okay. Electric bill continuing to be normal
It was
compared-
about, let's see, it was 9,000 something in our peak in September, October, no, that was September. Then it went down to about 7,000, and then the latest was 6,000 something, so.
Okay.
We're, last year, we're still above where we were last year, but we've gone down a little bit, so.
Okay.
At least it's not 9,000.
Right. Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely higher.
I will entertain a motion pertaining to the claims and payroll.
I'll make a motion to accept the claims and payroll.
Second.
All right. All in favor of accepting the claims and payroll as presented, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Is there anything else from a financial perspective that you would like to?
Sure, I'll just give you a brief overview of our finances for November. We had a little bit of a negative net revenue for the month of November, but mostly due to timing issues with our funding. We just got our, on the 15th of December, we just got our charter and innovation grant money. So we get that, for those of you who do not know, we get it twice a year. And we got it in July, and then we just got it in December early. So that was a nice present before Christmas for us. So the timing with the funding, that was why we had a negative amount in November. But overall, for our 5 months, July through November of this fiscal year, we're still positive. So we're doing all right. And as far as you know, but just for everybody else, we had our audit and it was completed, and we were pleased that we had no findings this year, which in my experience has never happened before, at least not an audit that I've been a part of. So that was a really good thing.
That's
So
great.
we were very pleased, and it was pretty seamless this year. So
Good.
Overall good. Anybody have any questions about that? Anything?
No, just other than thank you, and you and the rest of the team for all the support to get to a zero findings audit. That is extremely rare.
Yeah. But we'll hopefully go for that goal next year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Not holding up my breath.
Perfect. Well, thank you very, very much. Alrighty. So now we're on to the next item within consent approvals related to human resources. I left that in there. I don't think anything has. Usually, this is where Jamie would speak towards resignations or some other personnel items that she's got. So I think we'll just kind of blaze on through this section. As with travel requests, staff development, and field trips, looks like we're probably not doing anything in preparation for the Christmas break. Probably not doing a lot of field tripping. So I'll move on to the item within the business and operations section of the agenda. It'll be from the administrator's perspective, and this is typically when we look at the enrollment. And so I'll pull that up here real quick. That's in the agenda as well. At the moment, it appears we have enrolled 240, which is hovering right around what our ADM expectation was. 262 is the total number when you consider our 22 pre-K, and so 240 K through 8 would be with that number, which I think is the only number that applies to the grant. So good deal. That we got a lot of great stuff full. This is good news. ADM count is when? February, Albert?
Yes.
February, okay. So I think we budgeted on 242, so we're 2 below or what our budgeted ADM amount was.
Right.
So, and I think that's what we were in September ADM.
In October count day, it was 242. It was right
Right.
on.
Yeah,
And
come
then,
back up.
so we'll see. Hopefully we could pick up another
Right.
1 or 2 before February. That'd be great.
'Tis the season after the Christmas break, and I think oftentimes when we might pick up a few. So yeah, that's our hope for sure. Okay.
The other question that comes up to my mind out of those enrollment figures too, is that should we be looking at next year at some type of temporary classroom? We had talked about this a couple of years ago, but given that our pre-K enrollment's strong and our K-1-2 enrollments are strong this year, taking 2 sections each, and projection-wise, it looks like that'll, so we'd have K-1-2-3 that would need 2 classrooms next year. So is it really time for us to give some serious thought to, like I said, temporary classrooms out back for grades 7 and 8?
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought, just throwing that out for,
Mm-hmm. I made a note of that.
it's kind of a facilities strategic review question.
Yeah, and if nothing else, start looking into what it would take from a septic perspective, electric perspective, water, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, start doing some of the homework for that. Yeah.
No, don't disagree at all. Alrighty. The next agenda within the business and operations, next item on the agenda, I should say, within the business and operations section, pertains to our authorizer, USI, and a couple items that are ongoing. So we have gotten the updated charter addendum signed. I think we've got that back in hard copy too, filed away, and it's also electronically available as well. But really the main items in the charter addendum that are getting up, that were updated, there was still some references to Nineveh, Hensley, Jackson, which we kind of utilized the IATs. So we did some typo corrections, and we also updated the minimum number of board members, which was at one time 7 to 9, and we did 5 to 9. So that's the primary updates that we did in that, other than just some cleaning up fonts and things like that. So any questions on that item in terms to the charter addendum? Okay. I think we're gonna go in terms of the business and operations, and speaking of finances, we've already had our treasurer's report and whatnot, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this, I think, more in the buildings and grounds. So I think we'll kind of skip through this since there's nothing specifically noted within here. In addition to curriculum and technology as well, I don't think there's anything specific to talk about there, and we'll go straight to buildings and grounds. And so for sure, we have a couple invoices here we need to kind of go over and approve. I'll speak toward the first one here. It deals with SR Mechanical. Total for the SR is $4,202. And it looks, as I'm going down through here, it looks like there was some rooftop issues with our kitchen air handler. It looks like they had to do some wiring up to the rooftop. Looks like they had some bearing issues and whatnot, and thermostat. Just kind of ongoing maintenance, HVAC issues. We may talk about that a little bit here in a minute too as well. So, so that was $3,900 of it, and it looks like, and then basically the labor. Oh yeah, there's a broken belt on the shaft blower as well. So I think that's all good. I think the kitchen ladies are happier with a fairly controlled environment now at this point. So, and I'll go ahead and jump into the other, and that deals with the pumping. This was a $2,275 invoice from Midwest Septic, and this was to pump down the 10,000 gallon tank and everything that was in our dosing pit, so that we, and I say we, I really mean we, it was me and Alan Knight, did some work on the septic pump. And again, more updates to come on that as well. But $2,275 invoice from Midwest Septic, and $4,202 invoice from SR Mechanical. So I'm kind of done rambling. I will take a motion pertaining to these invoices, either separately or individually, whichever you prefer.
I'll make a motion to accept both invoices as discussed above.
Okay?
I'll second.
Okay. All of those in favor for approving the payment of the 2 invoices as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, good deal. Yes, so the next item, I've been hinting at this the whole meeting, I feel, Sam, so I'm gonna turn it over to our Facilities Committee Chair to give a report on facilities.
Okay. 2, the light up front has not been fixed, has it? Those 2. They were supposed to come when the weather got good, so I don't know when that's going to happen. But he really didn't want to send him up there and rewire that if the weather's bad. So that is on schedule. But I noticed is one of the backlights, is that middle one out? So while they're here, I'll have them. The last time they fixed it and then it went out, they capped the top and it got loose. And so I think it's probably got something to do with that. So I'll make a note for them to fix that light as well. Then the other issue, you all got copies of, we got 3 proposals, quotes for PM contracts. And talking with other members of the facility committee, still not sure that's the way to go. Because a lot of what, talking with Brian, a lot of what they'll come in to do, Brian can do. You know, Brian can change filters and do those. So, you know, looking at, you know, a $10,000 contract, we're still trying to, we might need to set some more parameters of
Okay.
what that would be. So at this point, we're not ready to recommend. There was one that was stronger than the rest, but I think the issue, and I'm new to this, but it seems like the true issue is the Johnson controls.
Okay.
That everybody that looked at it said they're outdated. You can't update them. So we probably need to look at changing our controls. And so we've discussed with 2 about what options are.
Okay.
So we're looking at maybe some options on how to switch those, which they did that in the kitchen, correct? They've changed,
It sounds like they put a KMC controller.
and it sounds like that's working very well. At least Brian says
Okay.
that it's, I think Brian's opinion would be change it all that same way. So we did get the quotes. We're just not ready to say, hey, one stood out. That's the way to go. So we're going to have to get back together and talk with Brian because, again, a lot of what they proposed they could do, Brian said, you know, why? You know, I hate to spend $10,000 a year on something that half of it I can do.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with him. So that's where we're at with those. But it was good to see what the amount would be if we did go that route.
That was kind of a question I had when I read through those. I was wondering if there were any of those services that A, we could do, or B, with our current employees, or B, that we could, training that we could provide
Right.
to our employees to be able to do that.
Yeah, me and Brian, we had a nice discussion today, and there was a lot of these things he felt like he really hated to pay somebody to do something that he could do. So I think now that we've gotten these, we've discussed them, it was more bringing them in and asking them what they could do. I think now the facilities committee may need to just put a list of things that we need done and maybe re-quote it that way.
Yeah, in my world, I would have called what we just did as a RFI, request for interest,
Right.
which has no obligation whatsoever to it. But then it helps you develop the next step, and that would be an RFP, which is a request for proposals. And there is, yeah. So I like it.
There was one candidate that kind of rised above the other 2 that it seemed like
Okay.
most everybody felt the same way. So,
Cool.
So yeah, we'll proceed and see if we can't. I mean, probably more our fault by just saying, hey, what can you do?
Right.
We need to give them a list of these are the items that we need.
Yeah. Well,
So,
sounds like we learned a little bit that the controls are probably one of the keys then. Yeah.
so those are the only two issues that, from a facility committee standpoint.
I'll add one on the ongoing septic. I'm kind of running on parallel there with you. I'm working primarily with Alan Knight on the facilities committee on trying to tag team and get that done. And so as you all know, back in late September is whenever we first started having some additional issues. And we turned the control off for the north pump because it was running constantly, impacting our electric bill. And so at that point, I kind of coordinated with the state to see what their thoughts were and kind of gave them a timeline that we were going to try to get it done during Christmas break. And they politely told me that I have to have a speedier schedule than that. So that's when Alan and I, the $2,200 septic pumping ticket, we pumped it. Alan and I pulled the pump, looked at it. We reset them, and we thought they were functional. Turns out we were wrong. It was just a Band-Aid, because I called HFI to come and turn the controls back on. The controls were turned off by Bynum and Fanyo, and they stopped returning my calls for whatever reason, so I shifted to HFI to come and turn the controls back on. And when they arrived on Monday, we noticed that the north pump was again doing the same thing that it was doing back in September. It was continually running. So it only had to happen for a couple of days, we're hoping. And so hopefully the electric bill won't be too bad. And we tried to open up on Monday and see what the problem was, but that was the day it was 4 degrees. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't see anything because it was belching out steam everywhere. So they returned on Wednesday, yesterday, opened it up, and we're pretty sure they pulled the pump, and they were pretty sure there were some issues with essentially the flange on the pump and the connection point on the exit pipe. He was pretty sure it was not making connection. And so this morning he showed up again, had the dosing pit pumped down so he could get down in there and pull that pump, and he says yes, the flange on the pump appears that it's wallered out and cracked, and as is the pipe itself is wallered out and cracked. And so the reason it was running constantly this time, probably the same as last time, is they're not meeting, and it's just blowing water. It's not actually sending water out the pipe. I still think are you getting all this? I'm just joking. And so there's still good news in the sense that it's not a saturated field. It's not a busted line. It's nothing like that. But he is checking right now with vendors to get the parts for the pump. He believes they still make the parts for the pump. And it will be, when he gets all those quotes back, he is going to provide us a quote of what the cost will be. And I think we're going to be in 4 figures. But I don't think we're going to be in 5 figures. Does that make sense? I don't think we're going to be over 10K, but there will be, with the labor and the time that he spent on it, and then the parts for the pump that he's going to replace on the flange, and then get down in the pit, and then put a new pipe fitting down there.
Yeah, I would need 5 figures to go down there.
Yeah, right. That's right. So there you go. That's the catch up. I think we're working it good enough that the state isn't going to be aggravated. State Department of Health isn't going to be aggravated at us. I will continue to coordinate with the state on that, and even the county.
That's a much better. When I first came on, that sounds a lot better than what we initially thought it could have been.
Exactly. Having to dig into the mound, that would even be potentially 6 figures, I'm afraid, if you'd have to replace mounds in those systems. So,
Yeah.
So I think that's all I have. I'll just keep Corbin, you in the loop. We'll make sure we follow. We'll kind of reconvene maybe as a facilities committee and kind of make sure we're following the procurement procedures whenever we do the call out to see if it's something we can do. I kind of consider it an emergency too, so we need to get it done. It's great. I think that the Christmas break is probably going to be a prolonged period of time where we're not going to be sending a lot of inflow in either. So this has been a good time to do all this. So, I mean, that's all for me. I turn it back over to you to turn it back to me?
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. Next item would be transportation. Does anybody have anything from a transportation perspective within the business and operations?
No.
No? Okay, so we are getting pretty close to the end here. We're in the administrator report out section, and so typically this would be the time. Athletics would be one thing that Jamie would report on, and I think she, well, there's no athletic notes that I have in here. How about any public comments? Do we have
Well, our
anything?
girls are in the semifinals of the elementary championship.
Is that the countywide tournament?
Yep. So they play Dollins, is it Saturday?
Yes,
Really?
Yeah. So that's,
And then what grade?
that would be is that fourth and
It's
fifth?
our 4th through 6th.
Okay. Good deal.
So she would bring that up, I do know.
She would. That's good. Fantastic. Any other comments from the public? Let's see, we're scrolling down through here. Looks like some dates of interest. Obviously, tomorrow is the last day before Christmas break, right? So it looks like the 22nd through the 2nd is Christmas break. Harvest of Hope fundraiser ends tomorrow as well. Does anybody have an update on that? No.
I can tell you
Oh.
what I see on the screen.
All
shows
right.
that we've raised $3,330. Initial goal was 7,800, so 42% of that, and we have substantial contributions. So we definitely appreciate that.
I'll make a note that 3,000 number, that's just the online portion. That doesn't include the cash and checks that
Awesome.
we've gotten. So
Okay.
I don't know the exact amount total.
But it's a lot more.
But it's more, yeah,
Good.
it's definitely more than that.
So maybe close to our goal even.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. Good deal. Fantastic. January 5th is the first day of the second semester, so it's good. That's also the same time when early enrollment for 26, 27 begins too. So there you go. Fantastic. All right. Well, I will accept well, I'm sorry, Ms. Dumond. Do you have any comments? I should have turned it over to our authorizer as well. I apologize.
You are completely fine. Can you hear me?
We can.
First of all?
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't want to keep you all after that very interesting discussion about leach fields and drain pipes. It was a great engineering lesson. It sounds like things are going really well. I very much appreciate all the work that those on the screen and off are doing. I'm sorry to have Miss Davis. And we hope to be wrapping up our search very soon, and we are all looking forward to our break. So that's all I will share at this time, but thank you for allowing me to step in Dr. Smith's stead this evening.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All righty. Well, I will accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm going to. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.